excited to talk with Corey Robinson. He's not just a starting wide receiver for Notre Dame, 65 catches, 896 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's also, of course, he's probably heard this every time he's ever done a radio interview, the son of the Admiral, David Robinson. But most importantly, and the reason why I wanted to get him on, he's also now the student body president at Notre Dame. Corey, it's Ross Tucker filling in for Dan here on the Dan Patrick Show today. Thanks so much for hopping aboard.
Hey, Ross. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor. Thank you.
So just talk to me about the idea. What was the impetus to run for student body president? Why?
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. One of my friends, she's in student government right now, and she came to me and said, Corey, you were in student government, you're involved with our athlete council, and have you ever thought about running for student body president? And that's something that never really crossed my mind. And then I thought about it, asked my parents about it, and I thought it was the best way to make the most meaningful impact on campus. And we kind of just did it, and it happened. We went around and knocked on literally every door on campus and talked to some people and, had some good ideas. So I'm just super thankful.
Have you asked anybody about this? Are there any other starting wide receivers at Power 5 programs that are starting players that are student body president? I don't think I've ever heard of this.
Yeah, well, I mean, at Notre Dame, we're thankful because we have Alex Kocha, who was a fencer. He won a national championship in fencing 2 years ago and was student body president. So, he's been my mentor. Now he's a Rhodes Scholar over in Oxford. So, I mean, he's a pretty great mentor to have. But, yeah, he walked me through the process.
So what exactly does a student body president do?
Yeah, so my main role is to be the main representative between the student body as a whole and the administration. So I sit on a lot of different board meetings and, talk to different departments. We actually have a department for every aspect of, Notre Dame as far as campus ministry, social outreach, academic services, diversity, everything like that. So when they have an initiative, I'll just bring it to the administration and say, my campus ministry rep has a great idea for an event. Can we get a green light? So that's my main role as the student body president.
What did your parents say? What did your dad say when you won? Was he proud of you?
Yeah, I called them. Actually, I found out in a really dramatic manner. It was about 1:30 in the morning. They called us all into the same room, and they gave us envelopes like it was Survivor, and they say, please open them at this time, and we all looked at each other, opened it up, and, we got the win. So I called my mom. She was, trying to stay up. She was really late, way past her bedtime, and, she was excited. I called my dad, and he was kind of half asleep, and he was like, oh, that's great, son. He's like, I'm going back to sleep. But I got to call him the next day, and we talked about it. We got a FaceTime, but yeah, they're really proud. So that's awesome.
Well, I don't know why I asked you that. I could just ask your dad directly because your dad is now on the line with us. NBA Hall of Famer David Robinson, aka the Admiral. David, really appreciate you joining us. So he woke you up when you were asleep to tell you that he became student body president?
Hey, good morning. Hey, Coco, how you doing? Yeah, he called me. He called me in the middle of the night, and my wife. I was up in the New York area, so I was sleeping, and my wife was over here back in San Antonio, wide awake. And so I guess they had just had a conversation, and so yeah, he was very excited. I taking on all these tasks. I think Corey's one of the few guys that can really handle all of full-time football, full-time student. He's been able to have incredible grades and still be involved in just about everything going on in campus. So it's really, he's kind of been groomed to do this thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I'll ask both of you. Were there any concerns about the time commitment? I'm assuming, Corey, on some level, you'd like to give professional football a shot. If I'm wrong, let me know. Was there any concern about the time commitment of being student body president, maybe taken away from your duties, dreams, and goals on the field?
Yeah, but I really thought about that. That's one of the reasons why at first I kind of turned it down. But then, after talking to my parents, it's such an incredible opportunity. After talking to Alex, I really, kind of mapped out this incredible schedule where it gives me time and flexibility because technically I could have graduated in May and then come back as a graduate student. But I'm just going to stay undergraduate by picking up an extra minor. So I finished all my requirements. I'm just going to take, a minor over, the fall and the spring, just take 1 or 2 extra classes. So it ended up being a lot easier than I thought as far as, my time commitments.
David, I have 2 daughters. They're 4 and 2. And man, oh man, I hope when they are Corey's age. I hope they talk like Corey does. I hope they act like Corey does. I mean, it is, go to Notre Dame. That'd be nice. Go to Notre Dame for free would really be nice. But how proud are you of everything that Corey has accomplished as a person more than as a player?
He's a dream child. We have 3 boys. My oldest graduated from Texas, which is a pretty good school in its own right, and my youngest just started at Duke. So those guys, all 3 of the boys, I got to tribute my wife. I mean, I was running around playing basketball for 14 years, and she just did a phenomenal job, just putting the right heart in these boys. Not only are they diligent and they're intelligent, but they're so sweet and they care about people. And I think it's because my wife really taught them how to do that when they were younger. And so yeah, I'm very, very proud of each one of them. They've kind of found their own lane and in many ways overshadowed me. I was never student body president, so I'm kind of living vicariously through Corey now.
We're talking with Corey Robinson. He's not only a very good wide receiver for Notre Dame, he's also the student body president now, which is just an awesome, awesome thing. And his father, who you might have heard of, NBA Hall of Famer David Robinson. Corey, what was that like growing up? I know you've been asked this a million times in your life, but what was it like, having a dad that was an NBA star?
It's interesting. When you play basketball, it's very difficult. Because you're going to all the tournaments and people, they hear rumors like, Mr. Robinson's kid's on this team, and they're looking around, and then when you start warming up, everyone's kind of disappointed when you're not that good. So, growing up when I was playing basketball, that was tough. But then now, it's been just a great honor because my dad has an international reputation just for being, the class act that he is. So to be able to be associated with him is a great honor for me and my brothers.
Yeah, that's when did you know football was your sport and not hoops?
It's funny because I never really had the opportunity to play basketball. When I was a senior, I had 2 options. I had Notre Dame football or junior college basketball. And I'm not a genius, but it's hard to turn down Notre Dame football. So I had to give up basketball. But it's something that I still love. I still love to be around the game. I'm a huge fan of our men's and women's teams here at Notre Dame. They're both very good this year. But I just get a lot more just watching that and watching the Spurs.
You guys had a really good season. Obviously, you lost some guys that are going to the NFL now, and Ronnie Stanley and Jalen Smith and Fuller, among other guys. I'm curious, out of those guys that are going to the NFL this year, who's the guy that I should become their agent? Is it Jalen? Is it Ronnie? I mean, who's the guy that you say, man, I'd be shocked if he isn't an absolute star in the NFL?
Well, I'm telling you, all those guys are incredible. Every single one of those guys are incredible athletes and incredible people. But I got to go with Foley, man. Will is the dude. I'd be surprised if he doesn't, go top 2, especially the first round. I think he's an incredible player. He's a great person, and he really loves the game. He loves to work hard. He loves to learn, and he never sells himself. He never is satisfied, with anything. He always wants to get better. So I think his upside's huge, and I think he's probably one of the best players that I've ever seen. So I think Foley for sure.
Well, he's from my neck of the woods in Philadelphia, so I like hearing that. Last question, Corey. Football dreams aside, what do you want to do? I mean, I was joking with these guys before the show that just the way you conduct yourself, now being student body president, am I voting for you for United States president 30 years from now?
Oh my God.
And any shot you're going to get into politics?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure. I'm just 20. I really want to go follow my friend and mentor Alex Coach's footsteps, and hopefully I'm going to apply for the Rhodes. I really want to go to Oxford and study educational administration. Maybe get a PhD later down the road or go to law school. But I think the number one thing for me is just finishing up my last year. Playing some great football with my guys one last time. Serving the university and the student body as best as I can, and then applying for the Rhodes and see what happens.
Wow. Well, good luck. You got my vote. That is awesome. Thanks so much for hopping aboard.
Thank you, Russ, for having me.
David, you as well. Thanks for calling in and surprising your son.
Yeah, I'm glad I could do that. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to chat together.
Absolutely. Take care, fellas.